Hey, peace, everybody. Welcome to Hip Hop Astrology. This is Urban Guru, also known as Impu Astrology, right here on Twitter. And Minister Jew, you there?
Yo, peace. What's happening, man? It's the Urban Mystic. You can catch me over at Hip Hop Astrology on Twitter. And today we're going to build on 50 Cent. He's been in the news lately, man, and we want to shed some light on this thing to bring some clarity to those who are watching and paying attention. Just how important this astro data is, man, and how it can be helpful and making assessments, not only with your finances, but in other areas of your life.
Yeah. Let's roll into it, man. Head on with some quick. Y'all rocking with the quick little, this is the little knowledge hour, but it ain't going to be an hour. It's going to be real fast, so sit back, buckle your seatbelts, take some notes while we give you some celestial science real fast.
Well, we jump right into this thing, man. You know, I've been relentless on Twitter, man, on 50 Cent Heels, man, for really like the last, I would say 3 months, man, going on 3 months. And, you know, I love the science of the heavens, and I love the art form and the craft of hip-hop, you know, so hence hip-hop astrology. And, you know, when I see something going on in the heavens in regards to one of these artists, man, one of these big artists, major artists who has a major influence on the culture, I like to go take a peek and see what's going on in the heavens and give people heads up, man, for things that's coming up to use as a tool, you know, to get ahead and to stay out in front and be successful and continue to be blessed, you know. So I checked out 50 chart back in late May. You go check the timeline, my timeline. I think the date is May 28th for this year. You'll see why I tweeted 50, and I told him, I said, look, man, you got some energy coming up on you, primarily dealing with the planetary energy of Saturn, man, which is, you know, the disciplinarian, you know, the one who gives out the strict lessons. It also represents judges, you know, procrastination, slowing things down, right? This planet was making a very, very sharp aspect to another planet in 50's chart that we call Venus, which is dealing with your money, your finances, your property, things that you value, things that you appreciate. And it also denotes courtrooms, you know, the judicial system. So when I saw that, I said, man, 50 about to run into some problems, man, with his money, and he going to find himself in court. You know, when you look at these particular aspects, this is an aspect that definitely denotes the possibility of you being separated from your finances through some type of judicial ruling or some type of court order. So I wanted to bring that to his attention in advance, you know what I mean, and let him know that, hey, listen, we can chart this and give you some tools to use in order to negate this type of current that's coming into your life at this particular time. Well, a few months later, and what do you have? You have 50 Cent in the news, right? He's being sued by Rick Ross's baby mama, Tanya Livingston. He goes into the courtroom. They end up ordering him to pay up $5 million, right? And then when I saw that, I said, man, I tried to warn this dude back in May how this thing was going to turn out if he ain't get up with us, man, so we can get him some advice on how to deal with the energy that's in his life, right? So, you know, that passed, and then he went and filed bankruptcy, you know. And, you know, his camp, not only his camp, himself, you know, basically said that filing the bankruptcy was a strategic move for him to get his finances in order. But the underlying current there was to try to negate and slow down the process from having to pay that $5 million off to Rick Ross' baby mama, right? And so he went forward with filing the bankruptcy, right? But see, what he doesn't understand is this, right? Even though you think that you're doing what you're doing in the present moment to come up with some type of strategy in order to negate whatever you have to deal with financially in the present moment, right, going that route to have to file bankruptcy, even though it looks like a strategic move, this is still the energy of Saturn making this hard aspect to 50 Cent's natal Venus. So it looks like he's being intelligible in what he's doing, right? And it may be on a certain level, but see, the mere fact that he had to even go that route, because the truth is he actually signed his signature on some paperwork that denotes in the perception of the people when you hear the word bankruptcy, the first thing you think of is financial problems, right? So that's the first layer of thought that hits your mind when you hear the word bankruptcy. So even if it was strategic, you still see how this planetary energy is forcing his hand to even have to do something of that nature because he's running into a situation financially for real in a courtroom via Rick Ross's baby mama, right? So 50 Cent ends up in court yesterday, right, on a Friday, to have to go testify in front of the jurors for the same case, right, to plead his behalf on the situation. Well, the jurors didn't buy it. They end up slapping him with another $2 million in addition to the $5 million to put him at $7 million total to have to pay off to Miss Livingston. You see? And so during his testimony, he had to go up on the stand and say flat out that the lifestyle that he portrays in hip-hop is basically a mirage, right? Now, 50 Cent, and I want to say this directly to you, 50. You're showing up at stage plays, quantum stage plays called Constellation. We saw you there, right? We've seen you mention the play, right? And now you're going in a venue where you're having to put these things in your testimony on what the court calls the record. You're putting it on the record. And this is just a brief glimpse into this quantum thing because we masters at this particular science. You go in the courtroom and you're putting it on the record that the lifestyle that you're portraying in hip-hop is a mirage. But yet that same mirage that you're portraying in hip-hop over the years is what puts you in the status that you're in according to the perception of the people as this tough guy, flamboyant, boisterous, out front type of individual. But now you're having to go in a courtroom and basically denounce all of that inside of a courtroom on the record, which within the quantum world, i.e. the stage play that you went to called Constellation, you're collapsing that reality into your life. And so now by doing that, you're subject to all kind of other financial hardships to come along your way because of you not understanding planetary energy. So 50 Cent, right? If your lawyers, if your bodyguards, if your financial advisors do not understand the science of the heavens, then you're getting a half-assed job, my friend. Because had you had us on your team as advisors, we could have put you up on game way ahead of time to circumvent the type of activity that you might have even thought about doing so that when this time in your life, when this energy is present, because it's coming, irregardless of who you are, where you at, and what you're doing, you could have dodged this bullet. You see? So if your advisors can't tell you that and tell you what time it really is, then they really ain't no good to you, and you're still going to have to cough up $7 million. You're still going to have to go through the perception hit in the public with the bankruptcy, et cetera, et cetera. So get with us, man. Put your ego to the side and get with us, man. info@hiphopastrology.com, man. That's where it is, and that's what we doing.
Let me play a little devil's advocate on the other side here. When somebody like 50 Cent, who is perceived to be vindictive, in a sense where if you have a net worth of, let's just say, $150 million, and you got to pay $7 million, it appears that 50 is the kind of guy that will look at that as an investment to antagonize his opponent, his rival. That's his mindset. He don't really, and to a degree, let's just say, he don't care. So how would this be good for him if he has that kind of mindset?
Well, if he has that kind of mindset, right, then that's perfectly all right. That's the state that he chooses to dwell in. However, right, he still can't get away from these planetary influences. And it's obvious that this energy is on him now. And what will end up happening is, this is what will end up happening, right? You think playing the antagonist role, right, is the popular role to play, right? And then when these universal lessons, which is Saturn, come around, because you got to remember, did you hear what the young lady said, Miss Livingston said after the verdict was read on 50 Cent yesterday? She said, this goes to show him that he cannot just treat people badly and just do whatever he wants to do to people and not have to suffer the consequences behind it. You see? So what happens is you find yourself going down this tunnel, like this wind tunnel, where all of a sudden all these things start to unravel. And then you have to look back on the decisions that you've made in the past in order to be the antagonist that you would like to be, right? In a lot of cases, some of it wasn't warranted, right? Then you find yourself in a position where you have to pay later. So you're always going to get your just due from the universal laws, man. You can't get past it. You can't get around it. You're going to have to be open to this thing and basically yield, because that's exactly what's happening to him now and going to continue to happen to him as this transit is here at this particular time for him.
Indeed. I'll add on to say that 50, if and anybody that's listening in that arena, I would just like to say that take the time out and really scroll the timeline of Hip Hop Astrology right here on Twitter. The same thing for the Urban Guru right here on Twitter. And you will see some very, very heavy predictions that have taken place from world events in which Russell Simmons and Snoop Dogg are always being tagged in those tweets. The Charleston shooting, before Charleston happened, the exact day was actually given to Russell and Snoop on Charleston. This last thing that happened with the Marine, the guy going in there and killing 4 Marines, that was given to the exact day to Russell and Snoop. And the plane crash that happened over, I believe it was in India, when a big old plane crashed in the city and killed civilians, that was predicted to the day, and it was given to Russell and Snoop. Even when you go to the Hip Hop Astrology timeline, and you will see when Ross got arrested recently, that was predicted by Hip Hop Astrology back in December. That happened like 6 months beforehand, when he was told the exact month in which he would have conflict with authorities. So the thing is this, and even we go back to T.I. when he was in the club with Jeezy, and he was in the club with Puff. Somebody started shooting in the club in Charlotte, but they start shooting when the song was, when T.I.P song was If It Ain't About Money was on. That's when they start shooting, and T.I.P had got a tag on Twitter from the Urban Guru. If you look on that timeline, you'll see that before that happened, and told him the time that was likely to happen, and everything that we just said can be verified. You can actually see it for yourself. So what we're really saying is, everything is about your conscious choice that you make. So for every action, there's a reaction. We know that. All right? And what we're looking at is the probable outcome, what is absolutely most likely to happen. But here's another factor. When it comes to those events that we just talked about, plane crashes, domestic acts of violence, being in trouble with the law beforehand, before these things happen, even did a prediction on Rick Ross or when he was likely to be getting shot at. And that one year when he left his birthday party early in the morning, he got shot at, fell in the timeline that we did on him. See, this is the thing. There are what we can call external factors, called other people, who can likely pop up into your reality and create this event called gunshots, called I'm suing you, called, just whatever. They'll pop up as a random external force that appears outside of yourself. So it does go to your internal self based off your own actions that you're making, but also you need to be very aware of when that external factor is going to come and pop up on your timeline. When, like, you minding your business and you getting on the plane and you just so happen to be getting on the plane with Ja Rule. What happens? Why? What happens when another external force comes into your reality unknowingly? Can that be foreseen? Can that be foretold? And the answer is yes. So get at us, hiphopastrology.com. The email is info@hiphopastrology.com. And we signing out. Peace.
Peace.